You cannot keep building a powerful life if your emotions are driving the car. Every time you get angry, you quit. Every time you get disappointed, you give up. Every time somebody ignores you, rejects you, talks about you, doubts you, suddenly you forget who you are. That's dangerous because emotions change like weather. One day you feel unstoppable, next day you feel empty. One morning you wake up ready to conquer the world. By nighttime, one problem, one phone call, one bad comment, one mistake got you questioning your whole future. You cannot live like that. Some of you are not losing because you lack talent. You're losing because your emotions make your decisions. You make permanent decisions based on temporary feelings. You walk away from opportunities because you got frustrated. You destroy relationships because you got offended. You abandon your goals because you got tired. You stop believing in yourself because life didn't move on your schedule. Listen to me. Life does not care about your mood. Bills don't stop because you're emotional. Dreams don't work because you feel inspired for 3 days. Success demands stability. Mental strength is learning how to feel everything and still stay committed. Yes, cry if you need to cry. Feel the disappointment. Feel the heartbreak. Feel the pressure. Feel the fear sitting in your chest at 2 a.m. when nobody knows what you're carrying. But don't let feelings become your commander, because feelings will tell you lies. Your emotions will tell you you're not good enough. Your emotions will tell you this pain will never end. Your emotions will tell you to quit too early. Your emotions will tell you nobody believes in you, nobody cares, nobody sees your effort. And sometimes your emotions sound so convincing. That's why mentally strong people learn something powerful. They pause before they react. They breathe before they explode. They think before they destroy what took years to build. They understand that being strong is not pretending you feel nothing. Being strong is feeling anger but choosing wisdom. Feeling fear but taking the step anyway. Feeling rejection but refusing to shrink your value. Some of you need to stop handing control of your future to your current mood. You said you wanted a better life. Then act like it on the days you don't feel confident. Act like it on the days you feel overlooked. Act like it when motivation disappears and all you've got left is discipline and a quiet decision inside your soul saying, I'm not stopping. Because a mentally unbreakable person is not somebody who never feels pain. It's somebody who refuses to let pain make every decision. Chaos will visit everybody. Nobody gets a special pass. Nobody escapes hard days, unexpected problems, betrayal, pressure, fear, or moments when life feels completely out of control. The real question is not, will chaos come? The real question is, who will you become when it does? Because anybody can look strong when everything is working. Anybody can smile when the money is coming in, the relationships are healthy, the opportunities are opening, and life is giving them applause. But what about when everything gets loud? What about when your plans fall apart? When the door closes? When people change on you? When the pressure keeps building and your mind feels like it's carrying 1,000 pounds? That is where mental strength gets tested. Some people panic the moment life gets uncomfortable. They rush, they overreact, they make emotional choices because they are desperate to escape the pressure. And desperation can make intelligent people destroy things they prayed for. You have to train your mind to stay calm in chaos. Not because calm people don't feel stress. They do. Not because calm people don't get scared. They absolutely do. The difference is they refuse to let panic take control. They understand something powerful. A chaotic moment does not always require an emotional reaction. Sometimes the strongest move is silence. Sometimes the strongest move is patience. Sometimes the strongest move is standing still long enough to think clearly while everything around you is shaking. I know what it feels like when your heart is racing, when your future feels uncertain, when you're smiling in public, but fighting battles nobody can see. I know what it feels like to have questions with no answers, to carry pressure that nobody understands, to feel like life keeps testing you before you've recovered from the last test. But chaos is not permission to lose yourself. Your mind must become stronger than your environment. You must learn how to protect your peace when everything around you is demanding your breakdown, because a calm mind sees what panic misses. A calm mind notices solutions. A calm mind makes better decisions. A calm mind can walk through storms without becoming the storm. And that takes practice, that takes discipline, that takes waking up and teaching yourself not to react to every problem like it's the end of your story. Slow down, think clearly, respond with purpose. Refuse to let fear become the loudest voice in your life, because mentally unbreakable people are not people with perfect lives. They are people who learned how to hold themselves together while life was trying to pull them apart. Nobody likes pain. Nobody wakes up excited for rejection. Nobody asks life for failure. disappointment, loneliness, or nights filled with doubt. But if you want to become mentally unbreakable, you have to stop running from the very things that make you stronger. Pain is uncomfortable. Rejection hurts. Failure can shake your confidence so deeply that you start questioning your value. You gave your best, you worked hard, you believed, and still, it didn't work. That hurts in a way words cannot fully explain. Some of you know exactly what that feels like. You trusted somebody and they walked away. You gave everything to a dream and watched it collapse. You showed up with hope in your hands and life answered you with silence. And little by little, disappointment started changing the way you see yourself. That's the dangerous part, because pain does not only attack your circumstances, sometimes it attacks your identity. It whispers, maybe you're not good enough. Maybe this is all you'll ever be. Maybe you should stop trying. But listen carefully. Pain is not proof that you are weak. Rejection is not proof that you are worthless. Failure is not proof that your story is over. You have to stop treating hard seasons like personal punishments. Growth has a price, strength has a cost, maturity comes with scars, and some of the strongest people you admire today were built in seasons nobody clapped for. They were rejected, ignored, overlooked, embarrassed. They failed publicly. They doubted themselves. They cried in private. They kept moving while carrying pain nobody knew about. That is mental toughness, not pretending everything is okay, not faking confidence, not acting like nothing hurts. Mental toughness is accepting that life can wound you without allowing those wounds to define your future. You got rejected, learn from it, you failed, grow from it, you fell down. Get honest about what happened, stand back up and keep going. Because the truth is, avoiding pain does not protect you. Avoiding pain only keeps you small. If you run from rejection, you will never risk greatness. If you run from failure, you will never discover what you're truly capable of becoming. You cannot become mentally strong while demanding a comfortable life. Strength is built when things don't go your way and you choose not to surrender your purpose. Some of you are fighting battles right now that have drained your energy, your confidence, your patience. You're tired, you're frustrated, you're wondering how much more you can take. But don't let this season convince you that suffering is the end of your story. Sometimes the very thing breaking your comfort is building your character. You cannot become mentally unbreakable while staying loyal to the very things that are destroying your peace. Some people want growth, but they refuse to let go of what's keeping them stuck. That's a painful truth, because not everything in your life deserves permanent access to you. Not every friendship, not every habit, not every voice speaking into your mind every single day. Some people around you are draining your energy without touching your wallet. Every conversation leaves you exhausted. Every dream you mention gets criticized. Every step forward is met with doubt, sarcasm, negativity, or quiet jealousy. And little by little, you start shrinking. You start second-guessing yourself. You start making yourself smaller just to stay comfortable around people who are uncomfortable with your growth. That is dangerous, because negativity spreads quietly. You don't always notice it at first. It sounds like excuses. I'll start tomorrow. I'm too tired. It probably won't work anyway. What's the point? And before you know it, excuses become habits. Habits become lifestyle. Lifestyle becomes your future. You cannot keep feeding your mind garbage and expect mental strength to grow inside you. You cannot spend every day around chaos, laziness, drama, and constant complaining and expect to build discipline, peace, and focus. Your environment matters. The voices you listen to matter. The habits you repeat when nobody is watching matter. Some of you don't need another motivational speech. You need an honest conversation with yourself. You know what's pulling you backward. You know the habit that keeps stealing your confidence. You know the routine that leaves you feeling empty, distracted, weak, and disconnected from the person you're trying to become. And the hard part is, sometimes the enemy is familiar, sometimes it's comfortable, sometimes it's people you care about, sometimes it's patterns you've carried for years. That's why cutting things off can feel painful, because growth often demands separation. Separation from toxic thinking. Separation from constant excuses. Separation from people who only believe in you when you stay small. Mental strength is not just about what you build, it's also about what you refuse to keep carrying. Refuse to keep carrying habits that sabotage your goals. Refuse to keep carrying mindsets that convince you you're powerless. Refuse to keep carrying relationships that leave your spirit heavy and your confidence broken. You are allowed to protect your future. You are allowed to choose peace over chaos. You are allowed to become disciplined enough to say no to what feels familiar but destroys your progress. Because sometimes becoming stronger is not about adding more to your life. Sometimes it's about having the courage to remove what no longer belongs there. Motivation is beautiful when it shows up. It makes you feel powerful, focussed, ready. You wake up early, you make plans. You promise yourself this time will be different. And for a little while, everything feels possible. But what happens when motivation disappears? Because it will. There will be mornings when you don't feel inspired, days when your energy is low, moments when your confidence goes quiet and your goals suddenly feel heavy. That is where most people fall apart, not because they are incapable, not because they lack intelligence or talent. They fall apart because they built their future on feelings. And feelings are unreliable. You cannot wait until you feel ready to change your life. You cannot wait until discipline becomes comfortable. You cannot wait for perfect timing, perfect energy, perfect emotions. Life keeps moving whether you feel prepared or not. Discipline is what carries you when motivation walks out of the room. Discipline is getting up when your bed feels safer than your ambition. Discipline is doing the work when nobody is watching, clapping, praising, or checking on you. That kind of commitment is lonely sometimes because the world celebrates results, but very few people see the private battles behind those results, the alarms you didn't ignore, the excuses you fought against, the days you showed up mentally exhausted but refused to quit on yourself. That takes strength, real strength. Some of you are waiting to feel confident before taking action. You're waiting to feel motivated before becoming consistent. But confidence is often built through action, not before it. You become stronger by keeping promises to yourself, by doing what you said you would do even when your emotions argue with you, even when your mind says, skip today, rest a little longer. You can start next week. Those small moments matter more than people realize because your habits are quietly shaping your identity. Every time you follow through, you teach yourself that your word has value. Every time you stay committed through discomfort, you strengthen your mind. Mental toughness is not built in dramatic moments alone. It is built in ordinary days, in repeated effort, in quiet consistency, in the decision to keep moving when progress feels invisible. And I know sometimes you get tired. Sometimes you question whether your hard work is making a difference. Sometimes you want immediate results for the sacrifices nobody sees. That feeling is real. But mentally unbreakable people learn how to keep going without constant emotional rewards. They learn how to trust the process before the proof arrives. They learn how to remain committed to the person they are becoming, even on the days they don't feel powerful enough to believe in themselves. There will be seasons in your life when nobody understands your vision. Nobody claps for your effort. Nobody checks how hard you're fighting just to keep your dream alive. And that kind of loneliness can mess with your mind because human beings naturally want support. We want somebody to believe in us. We want encouragement. We want somebody to say, keep going, you're closer than you think. But what happens when that voice never comes? What happens when the people you expected support from stay silent? What happens when the room is full of doubt and you are the only person still trying to believe? That is where self-belief becomes more than a nice idea. It becomes survival. Some of you have spent too much of your life waiting for permission to trust yourself, waiting for approval, waiting for validation, waiting for somebody else to confirm that your dream matters. And while you wait, fear keeps stealing time from your future. Listen carefully. Not everybody will understand your path. Not everybody will see your potential. Some people will judge you based on your current situation and completely miss the greatness you are trying to grow into. That hurts, especially when the doubt comes from people you love, especially when the criticism comes from voices you respected, especially when you already struggle with believing in yourself. But mentally unbreakable people learn a hard lesson. You cannot allow other people's uncertainty to become your identity. You cannot build your confidence on applause because applause is inconsistent. People support what they understand, and sometimes they won't understand your journey until after you succeed. You have to develop a belief system that survives criticism, a belief system that survives rejection, a belief system that survives slow progress, unanswered questions, and days when the mirror reflects exhaustion instead of confidence. That kind of self-belief is not arrogance. It's not pretending you have everything figured out. It's making a decision deep inside yourself that says, even if this road gets hard, I'm not abandoning who I'm trying to become. That decision matters because life will test your confidence. There will be delays, setbacks, moments when you feel invisible, moments when your own mind becomes your biggest enemy. And in those moments, you need something stronger than outside approval. You need an inner voice powerful enough to remind you that your value does not disappear because support is missing. You need the courage to keep moving when results are slow. The courage to trust your growth before the world recognizes it. The courage to keep believing in your purpose when doubt is loud and encouragement is nowhere to be found.